It's a beautiful Sunday at a not so beautiful chemical plant in New Jersey. Fortunately, I didn't have to spend the night here. My grandma and my Aunt Diane live not too far from here, so I was able to park here yesterday afternoon, and Aunt Diane came and picked me up here. I haven't spent the night with them, and then we went to church this morning, although Grandma had to stay home because she's still recovering from heart surgery. I'd appreciate any prayers you could offer up for her. She's recovering well and doing very well for being 90, almost 91. And it's always good to pray for the sick. Got some time before my pickup at 1 o'clock. It's almost 12:30, but they're on lunch right now, so they're not going to take me early. So while I have this time, I might as well tell you the next little bit of my life story. So I've already spoken volumes about my early childhood, and you may be wondering why I haven't talked much about my faith life yet. Well, that's because I didn't really have a significant faith life as a child, so it didn't make much sense for me to weave it into the parts of the story that I've told so far. Before I continue with the story of my adolescence onward, here's a little synopsis of my religious upbringing. As I said when I first introduced myself, I grew up in a lukewarm Catholic family. We went to Mass, but the faith was never really a big deal to us. That had a lot to do with how my parents were raised. Now, I love my parents, and I'm so thankful for everything they did for me. From a secular perspective, they truly went above and beyond to give my siblings and me every opportunity to succeed. And even today, despite all their own troubles, they still do whatever they can to help us when we need it. And I need to say this because I know they're going to watch my videos, and so I need to make it perfectly clear that I don't intend to complain or express any negativity toward them when I talk about how they didn't exactly raise my siblings and me to be devout Catholics. It's not something I want to blame them for, and I don't blame them for it. Knowing where they came from, it's understandable why they raised us the way they did. My dad grew up in a non-practicing Jewish family. He was Jewish by heritage, but never practiced the faith at all. And my mom was raised Catholic, but she didn't receive very good catechesis. In case you're unfamiliar with Catholic jargon, catechesis is just a fancy word for instruction or teaching. The nuns who taught my mom's Sunday school literally tried to scare her into being a good Catholic. They told her she would go straight to hell if she skipped Mass just once or even accidentally took one bite of a hot dog on a Friday. Needless to say, that kind of catechesis doesn't make people feel welcome to begin a friendly relationship with Jesus. Chances are it'll either lead people to reject the faith entirely or to live in a constant fear of damnation. As if God were some cruel master who took delight in sending people to hell and was looking for any excuse to do so. Jesus himself tells us in John chapter 15, verse 15, that he doesn't intend to have a master and slave relationship with us. He says, "I have called you friends." Fortunately, my mom didn't leave the church or become overly scrupulous. But I think her child experience of bad catechesis may have been part of why faith was never really at the center of our family life. At my confirmation, which happened in 6th grade in our parish, there was hardly any discussion of religious matters in our house. With those faith-focused discussions missing from my adolescence, my outlook on life was mostly a product of the influences of my peers, my teachers, the mainstream media, all processed through the lens of my Asperger's. These influences minimized the importance of faith and encouraged me instead to value money, success, and human relationships more than God. So I took those influences to heart and just went through the motions of church and religious education classes. Even if there had been more of an emphasis on faith in my family life, my parish's religious education classes were still pretty ineffective. I'm pretty sure I wasn't the only one in those classes who paid little or no attention and never even bothered to study or do the homework until we actually had to pass a test to receive confirmation. The classes and the teachers just totally failed to get us interested. And I know they tried really hard, but it just didn't work for us. And there were quite a few really important things that they should have taught us, but didn't. For example, I don't recall them teaching us that you're supposed to say amen when receiving communion, or to bow to the altar and genuflect to the tabernacle, which is the box where Jesus, truly present in the consecrated Eucharistic host, is kept. And worst of all, they didn't even attempt to talk to us about Catholic teachings on sexuality. Granted, we only had these classes up until 6th grade, but even then, they could have tried to have an age-appropriate discussion about chastity with us. And there was absolutely no youth ministry at our parish, so from the end of religious education in 6th grade until I went to college, Mass was pretty much the only Catholic thing I did. Because nobody even tried to talk to me during puberty about God's plan for love, I just took my cues on sexuality from the secular influences in my life. Even after I started expressing inappropriate interests in a specific girl in 3rd grade, all my parents and teachers would say to me is that it's not right to stalk someone who doesn't love you back. And then when I finally had my first dating experience in 11th grade, again, no discussion of God's plan for love. Fortunately, I was too busy with schoolwork during that utter joke of a first relationship to have the opportunity to go really far down the road of sin with her before she dumped me. And I'm hesitant to even call that one a relationship because, in hindsight, I know my feelings for that girl were virtually all lust and no true love. Well, it's almost time for me to do my daily pre-trip inspection and pull into the yard to get loaded. So until next time, please keep me in your prayers and I'll keep you in mine. God bless.